North Texas coming into this Saturday afternoon matchup dominant at home in Conference USA play, 6-0 in that span, 33-16, outscoring opponents by that margin, and they have a chance today against the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Welcome everyone to Lovelace Stadium. It's a beautiful yet windy Saturday afternoon, 80 degrees, sunny, but a 24-mile-per-hour wind out of the south. North Texas coming in 19-16 overall, 6-6 inside the CUSA brackets, and on the other side, Southern Miss 19-19 overall with 4-8 in conference play as their record. So North Texas putting Stacy Underwood back on the mound, 11-7 so far on the year, 2.81 ERA, and then on the other side, her opposition Kim Croson, the junior, 7-7 with a 1.75 ERA. Welcome again to Lovelace Stadium, everybody. I'm Kyle Yeomans, alongside Nick Laupius, bringing you today's Conference USA softball action presented by North Texas Television on CUSA TV. And Nick, like I said in the intro, North Texas almost unstoppable at home, 33-16 at Lovelace in this Conference USA slide so far. And on the other side, they've been inconsistent. They've been 0-6 on the road, and this is a Southern Miss team coming off an iffy past week. They lost they lost to Marshall 2 out of 3 games, and then they lost to UTEP 1 out of the 3 games. So it's kind of an inconsistent Southern Miss team, but they're also a team that can really pull out some really interesting wins here and there.
Yeah, Kyle, both teams here are inconsistent. North Texas were on a 4-game losing streak before they beat SFA on Thursday with a 6-1 win here at home. So both teams, again, pretty streaky. But the good news for North Texas, like you said, they are a perfect 6-0 here at home against Conference USA opponents. So that's definitely good for North Texas. Maybe go 8-0, hopefully, maybe by the end of today against conference opponents here at Lovelace.
Like you talked about, 2 games on the slate for this afternoon. The first one starting here in just a couple of minutes, and then the second leg of the doubleheader starting around maybe 5 o'clock. And in the past, these two teams have only met for 2 separate series, and both of those times the home team has won all 3 games. First starting in 2015, North Texas won here at Lovelace 3 out of 3 times, and then they went on the road to Hattiesburg last year and dropped all 3. So the home team definitely has an advantage in this UNT and Southern Miss series.
Yeah, kind of odd there. Perfect split right down the middle, 3-3. Both teams can't seem to get a win on the road against the other opponent there. So we'll see here if North Texas can continue that trend. Or if Southern Miss can be the first team in the series, the first road team to get a win.
And not only just this going on, it is a very crucial series in terms of conference standings, really positioning. North Texas sitting at 3rd in the CUSA West with a little bit of an outside chance to potentially catch up to La Tech, depending on how that La Tech UAB series goes this weekend. But North Texas sitting atop, only 2 games above Southern Miss, and if they drop a series like this, all of it's going to really kind of run together in the middle of that West Division. And looking forward into the Conference USA tournament, there were 5 out of the 6 teams last year in the Conference USA West that made the conference tournament, and North Texas was the only team on the outside looking in. So trying to improve upon that this year, they have a chance to really improve their positioning and a chance to assert themselves in that CUSA West series with this that standings in this series here against Southern Miss.
Yeah, we saw that a couple of weeks ago with UTSA when they were a few games ahead of UTSA, and they had a series here at Lovelace, and North Texas was able to win 2 of those games there and build on their lead. So they've done a good job when they needed to get it done. They've been able to get some wins and build that lead, and that's why they're still one of the top 3 seeds right now in the West Division. And like you talked about, a big improvement from last year, North Texas so far. Really spending most of the season so far within one of those top 3 spots in the West Division.
And here at the University of North Texas, it's a very big weekend for athletics. It's alumni weekend here at the softball facility at Lovelace Stadium, as the team this year is going to honor the 2016 North Texas Hall of Fame inductee Susan Waters. Waters was the program leader in games played with 247, games started 245, RBIs with 138, and then home runs with 49, and not to mention multi-RBI game as well. She had 37 of those on her slate. So a big weekend for North Texas athletics, not only alumni weekend and the honoring of these new North Texas Hall of Fame inductees at Lovelace Stadium, but the spring game going on behind us at Apogee Stadium as we speak, and then across the parking lot you have the soccer team playing some exhibition games this weekend. So North Texas and the Mean Green well represented here in Denton this weekend.
Oh yeah, like you said, a lot of things going on today here. Just a few blocks of each other. It's hard to find parking today coming into the stadium. But yeah, definitely a great weekend. There's a lot of energy around the campus this weekend, and hopefully North Texas softball can feed off of that energy and maybe give us another thing to cheer about today.
And as they continue to recognize some of the past alumni here from North Texas, let's dig deeper into this Southern Miss matchup. But first, we're going to take a little bit of a break. We'll be back with more here on CUSA TV, powered by North Texas Television.
This Oklahoma State game they'll have after this last game against Southern Miss will be the next time they play really a pretty good school. And then, like you mentioned, they'll play Oklahoma, and then they'll play Texas again here later on here in April. And then they have a couple of games against Florida. So it'll be like you said, a very tough schedule for them. But so far, I think they've handled it pretty well.
So before we head to the national anthem, Nick, tell us a little bit about this Southern Miss starting lineup.
Yeah, well, right now they lead off Samantha Reynolds right now, 357 average right now. She has 2 triples actually on the season, doing a really good job. And then over at shortstop, Chase Nelson really having a good season, only hitting 265. Lauren Hoffield hitting 296. So right there, the top 3 having a pretty good season.
And that'll do it for our pregame show. We are going to pause and listen to our national anthem. Welcome back to Lovelace Stadium after the national anthem. The Mean Green take the field here for the first leg of this doubleheader. Stacy Underwood in the circle for the Mean Green, 11-7 overall on the season with a 2.81 ERA. She's working up the strikeout list as well. She has 68 strikeouts on the season, which leads the Mean Green. Her opponent's batting average is 263. She's only walked 32 in 117 innings of work. And then on the other side, she's played in 19 games so far this season, and 11 of those have been complete games.
Yeah, she's been really consistent so far here for the Mean Green. They're looking to get another good outing from her today, try and go deep into this ball game.
And you talked just very briefly, Nick, about this Southern Miss hitting lineup, and really the key for the Golden Eagles today is if they can put runs on the board. They have a very stout 1-2 punch in terms of the pitching staff. You have Kim Croson as well as Samantha Robles, a Texas native, who will most likely pitch in the second game of this afternoon. And right now with a Croson in the circle with a 1.75 ERA, if you can put runs on the board, Southern Miss is usually a pretty stout team. They are 17-2 when scoring more than 2 runs And then on the other side, they're 2-17 with less than 2 runs. That's a very telltale stat. So Underwood gets us underway as she sends that one in for strike one. And that will get us started. The official start time, 3:06 this afternoon.
And you talked about the pitching there for Southern Miss. Both sides have pretty good starting pitchers today, so it should be a very good pitching matchup for us to watch today.
That one just a little bit high as Underwood wearing the number 15 in the green tops for North Texas. Samantha Reynolds at the plate. She's going to take that one for ball 2. We talked about how Underwood leads the team in strikeouts so far over the season, but at the same time, she can get a little bit wild in a couple innings or so, but usually can calm it down. She's done a nice job of staying consistent and staying really where her roots are and making sure that she throws strikes. That one for strike 2. So the 2-2 pitch outside. That'll bring the count to full 3-2. Here's the full count pitch. This one's slapped in the left field. The sliding grab is made. And just like that, North Texas has out number 1 thanks to a nice play from Danielle Gregory. Gregory in left field making the play, hitting 4-hole for the Mean Green. She already off to a quick start with the sliding grab just over the outside of the infield. So 1 out here for Underwood.
Yeah, it was good positioning there. She got a good read on the ball, was able to make a really nice sliding play for the first out of the game.
So Chase Nelson now in the plate for Southern Miss. Underwood missed on the first pitch. She'll come back right here for strike 1. So the count even at 1-1. 1 out on the board here in the top of the first. The wind still blowing pretty hard toward right field. As there's a strike called. That one very nearly nabbing the outside part of the plate. A strike call from Trey Kirkendall. Here's the 1-2. This one lined just over the top of Kelly Scotty, playing third base today. Gregory playing short. Usually Scotty will be over in the shortstop position, but Scotty couldn't handle the hot line drive there, and there's base hit number 1 for Chase Nelson.
Yeah, there's a reason they call third base the hot corner, and right there they just showed you that. It looked like she was almost in the right position, but they were able the ball was just barely missed the glove and into left field.
So this will bring Lauren Holyfield, the number 1 offensive player for Southern Miss. 8 home runs, 27 RBIs on the season. She's played all 38 games, hitting .296. And Holyfield had a big tournament for the Conference USA tournament here last year. Hit a grand slam in their first game against UTEP, a 10-4 game. This one's a line to Scotty. Scotty has a chance for the double play at first, and she does. Just like that, Kelly Scotty goes 5-3 for the line out and the double play, nabbing Chase Nelson at first base, and that'll do it for the top of the first. North Texas leaves none on base as they will head to the plate. You're watching Conference USA Softball presented by CUSA TV, powered by North Texas Television.
UNT is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new point of view. We know what's possible when creativity, originality, and independent thought converge. We're ranked a Tier 1 research university. We're home to excellence the size of Texas. Define your future at UNT and soar to new heights.
Welcome back to Lovelace Stadium in Denton, Texas. It's the North Texas Mean Green and the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Kelly Scotty, after pulling off the 5-3 double play off of the line drive, hit by Lauren Holyfield, able to fire the strike over to first base. Now she'll get a chance at the plate. The usual leadoff hitter for Coach Tracy Key's squad will now work her way into the box. Scotty on the season, .368 batting average. She has 5 home runs and 21 RBIs.
And right there, the plate in the top of the first, Scotty shows you why she's one of the leaders there for this North Texas team. Great defensive awareness, and like you said, she's really good on the at the plate as well.
Kim Croson in the circle, for Southern Miss. Throws that one to start off the bottom of the first. Croson with a 1.75 ERA in 96 innings of work. She's struck out 46, but she's also walked 32. Opponents are batting .230 against Croson. The junior for Southern Miss. That one called a strike. That'll bring the count to 2-2.
Croson, like you said, 7-7. She's appeared in 18 games, 6 complete games for Southern Miss this season.
That one's just a bit low to fill the count up. Actually, I believe it's still 2-2. So here's the 2-2 pitch. That one's going to be chopped right back for the easy play as Croson will toss it over to Dew at first base to nab Scotty, and that'll bring up Lindsey Gregory, the shortstop, here in the 2-hole for Coach Tracy Key. Gregory, .340 on the season. She has 2 home runs and 15 RBIs. There's a changeup on the inside part of the plate. Called a ball. That'll start it out 0-1. 1-0 pitch, called for a strike, upper part of the strike zone, right near the numbers.
Yeah, it looked just right on the outside, inside corner there, up toward the numbers, like you said. There's a perfectly placed pitch there for Croson.
Yeah, Gregory's going to watch that one way high, a little bit outside, snagged by Stokes, the catcher. 2-1 the count. Here's Croson. The junior comes to the plate. This one's grounded to short. Corralled by Nelson. She'll fire over to first for out number 2. So quick work so far for Croson. She got to full count on Kelly Scotty and got to 2-2 with Gregory for the first 2 outs. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. North Texas usually very good as that changeup just very, very slowly squeaks its way into the strike zone for strike one.
That's the second time so far here in the first inning we've seen that changeup, and there's another off-speed pitch there. It looks like it's going to be difficult for the North Texas hitters to try and keep their weight back on that changeup and the off-speed pitch.
There's a time called. So it looks like there might be a substitution. Actually, he's calling in the entire field, both the infield and the outfield, with 1-1. The count, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. An interesting decision here from Southern Miss to get things going. He must have seen something he did not like. Hogue is coming out and talking to her assistant coach. Not necessarily sure what's happening here. Troy Kirkendall, the home plate umpire, is going to go and break up the powwow inside the circle.
It's not too common you see a coach come out and call the entire defense in, usually maybe just the infield. But no, that time he called in the entire defense there. So not sure what was said there, but it's 1-1 right now.
Here's Croson. This one's right in the middle of the strike zone. That's going to make the count 1-2. So North Texas trying to hold on. 2 outs and 2 strikes. This one outside, taken for ball 2. Lacey Gregory, the middle of the trio of Gregory, the second freshman. in the order. This one's going to be blooped into shallow left center field, but it's corralled for out number 3 as Johnson was able to come on and make the catch. So nothing going for the Mean Green. No runs, no hits, nobody left on, and Southern Miss will head back to the plate in the top of the second. You're watching Conference USA Softball powered by North Texas Television.
Is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new point of view. We know what's possible when creativity, originality, and independent thought converge. We're ranked a Tier 1 research university. We're home to excellence the size of Texas. Define your future at UNT and soar to new heights.
Only 6 batters reaching the plate in the first inning combined between the two squads. Both teams getting a 3-up, 3-down. North Texas in an unconventional way after the 5-3 double play rather from Scotty over to McCawie, and then on the other side you have Southern Miss doing it in the traditional fashion, 3-up, 3-down for North Texas hitting wise. That's going to bring the 4-hole. Tori Dew, the senior, to the plate for Southern Miss.
She leads the team right now. She leads Southern Miss right now. She has 9 doubles so far this season and 16 RBIs, so 278 average. So pretty good season for the senior.
She had a big year last year too. She can flash the power a little bit. Hasn't had a home run yet this season. Does drive in a lot of runs. 16 RBIs on the season, so 0-2 as Underwood gets up quickly. Senior on senior, Underwood to the plate. That one, a swing and a miss, and there's strikeout number 1 for Underwood so far. Able to just blow the fastball right by a swinging Tori Dew for out number 1.
So far, we're only about 7 batters in total, but batters not having the best of luck right now against these 2 really good pitchers.
That's going to bring Caitlin Aldous to the plate. Junior hitting 273 on the season. She has 9 RBIs, no home runs. Has struck out 15 times on the season. There's a called strike to even it up at 1 apiece. Here with 1 out in the top of the second. Underwood, who is usually consistent for the Mean Green, especially so as of late, had a rough tournament, or not tournament, but series last weekend against Charlotte. A 10-0 outing in the first game of that series, and then an 8-6 in her second start in the third game of the series, the Sunday matchup. Charlotte sitting at 4th in the CUSA East standings at 6-6 overall, 23-16. The overall record, 6-6 in conference play, I should say.
It was a rough series for UNT on the road, like you mentioned. They 0-6 on the road in conference play, it was a tough series against Charlotte, and they're looking to bounce back here in conference play against Southern Miss.
Well, they were able to get the bounce back win as there's a swing and a miss again. It looked like for just a second, Aldous tried to check the swing, but for the second batter in a row, Underwood able to blow the fastball on the outside part of the plate by her. And there's 2 outs for North Texas. Chance here to get back to the plate and potentially get their first base runner on for the Mean Green. Like I was saying, though, North Texas able to bounce back in the midweek matchup against Stephen F. Austin with a 6-1 victory on Tuesday. That was the last time they saw the field, so at least they have a winning streak to their name. Southern Miss on the other side coming off a loss 4-3 against Southern Alabama on that Tuesday afternoon. They did beat Mississippi Valley State on Monday 9-1.
talk about North Texas beating SFA here, and they have been dominant against Texas teams so far this season. I believe they are undefeated actually against Texas teams here this season.
I believe they did drop one game against Texas teams. They lost to Texas Tech, and that was only because of a late inning Texas Tech rally. This pitch on the inside part of the box, so 2-1 now the count. So Underwood making quick work of this Southern Miss offensive attack so far as their strike 2. So the count is even at 2-2. 2 outs here in the top of the second. 2s all over the board. Here's Underwood, the senior, to the plate. It's going to be grounded softly back to Underwood. Can't handle it. Instead, Gregory's going to come over, and the toss is in time to first base for out number 3. McCauley able to make the snag off of the stretch. And just like that, 3 up, 3 down again for North Texas. No hits, no runs, nobody left on for Southern Miss. We're headed to the bottom of the second. This is CUSA TV, powered by North Texas Television.
Is more than 125 years in the making.
6 up, 6 down. She does have 1 hit against her, and that is it on the afternoon so far. And then on the other side, you have Kim Croson, who had an easy 3 up, 3 down inning against this North Texas lineup in the bottom of the first. And here come the Mean Green with another chance to potentially tack on a run or 2 here.
Danielle Gregory coming up to the bat, leading off the inning here for North Texas, and she's currently on a 4-game hitting streak, and she's reached base safely in 10 consecutive games. So let's see if she can keep that going.
This chopper right back to Croson. Croson can't handle it initially, able to get it back and throw it over to first for out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Croson, as she'll sit Gregory down for out number 1. So only 1 pitch needed to get Danielle Gregory, the left fielder, out. And that'll bring Hannah Rebar to the plate. Rebar's had a hot week, or hot couple weeks, in that North Texas lineup. There's a soft changeup again from Croson, taken high for ball 1.
I should say, Rebar, she's also reached safely in the last 10 games for North Texas. So let's see if she can do something here in this inning.
So 2-0 now the count to Rebar. Rebar, last time she was at home in a conference game, had a big home run against UTSA in the Sunday matchup there. This changeup is going to bloop into right field, and Aldis is able to come over and make the play for out number 2. Looked like for a second there, Rebar may have been able to sit on the changeup, and instead she's going to loop that one into right field, and Aldis making the play. So once again, a quick work so far, as that count only got to 2-0. 3 pitches, 2 outs for Croson. There's a swing and a miss, a big one there from Hannah Gerke, excuse me.
Yeah, right now both pitchers really making it difficult on the hitters, and not having to pitch too much here so far. Low pitch counts for both pitchers right now. And very quickly down 0-2 here.
Yeah, OT to Gerke. Gerke's going to take low for ball 1. It's 1-2 now the count. North Texas yet to have a base runner here in the second. So Gerke evens up the count at 2 apiece. Here with 2 outs in the bottom of the second. The swing and a miss. The ball picked up out of the ground by Stokes, and that'll do it for the second inning. Nothing going once again for North Texas. We are headed to the third. It's North Texas 0, Southern Miss 0, here on CUSA TV, powered by North Texas Television.
UNT is more than 125 years in the making.
It is the 7th inning. 7, 8, 9 due up, or the 3rd inning. I don't know what I'm saying right now. 7, 8, 9 due up for Southern Miss. Here in the top of the 3rd, Underwood still in the mound. Nobody left on from either team It has been 6 up, 6 down through the first 2 innings of play, as this one's a strike on the outside part of the plate.
And that past inning, Stacey Underwood had 2 strikeouts, and then followed by a ground out to end that the top of the second. Let's see what she can do here.
There's another chopper to short, and it's going to be mishandled. And Gregory going to be charged with the error, so E6 on the play. And there's a base runner for Southern Miss, as Pollock was able to get on for the Golden Eagles. So nobody out, runner off first for Southern Miss. Underwood potentially looking for a ground ball double play here. Scotty, actually both of the corners playing up. McCauley almost had a play on that in the air. Instead, she'll get it off the hop, and the throw over to Gregory will nail Hill at first base. So the sacrifice is successful, and Pollock will move over to second. So runner in scoring position for the first time for either squad so far this afternoon. That'll bring Rachel Johnson to the plate. Johnson will take that one outside for ball 1. Johnson hitting in the 9-hole to match her jersey number. Facing Underwood, 1-0 the count. That one's going to be called for strike 1, 1-1, as that pitch was able to skim the outside part of the strike zone.
Yeah, earlier in the broadcast you talked about it's important for Southern Miss to try and get some runs on the board because they have really good pitching. And this the first time they have had a runner in scoring position, it'd be pretty important for them to try and maybe get that run home here with only 1 out.
So Johnson, the senior center fielder, is going to take that one close to a strike, but instead the count is now 3-1. Pollock sitting at second base. Doesn't steal a whole lot, 3 for 5 on the season. This Southern Miss squad doesn't steal very much. As there's ball 4, so 1 out and a force at any bag now for the North Texas defense. And that's going to bring the top of the lineup up for Southern Miss. Here's Samantha Reynolds. Reynolds, the junior, leads the team in batting average with .357. She only has 2 RBI, a chance here with a runner in scoring position to add to that mark. North Texas defensively playing more toward the corners, looking for a slap or a bunt here to potentially move both runners over into scoring position. Reynolds showed bunt, but pulled back. As looks like Ochanicki will meet with Underwood in the circle for a brief chat.
Reynolds 0 for 1 so far. She had a pop out to left field to start off the game. Looking to make up for that. Runners on first and second here. Only 1 out, trying to avoid the double play here if you're Southern Miss.
There's a strike as that one gets past Reynolds, so the count now even at 1-1. Double play ball possible here from North Texas, but with the way that the defense is set up, doesn't necessarily look like that is a huge possibility for the Mean Green. This was going to be slapped into center field. Here's Thompson. She's going to wind up, and the throw to home is cut off by McCauley, so the bases are going to be loaded. And Chase Nelson up to the plate. That is the second hit of the entire ball game for either squad. And so bases are loaded now for Southern Miss. A chance here to not only put the first run on the board for the afternoon, but potentially put a couple runs on the board. Chase Nelson, not a whole lot of power. She has 4 RBIs. This one's taken for strike 1.
She does have only 4 RBI. She has only a few. She only has 2 doubles. She does have 1 triple there so far this season, and she is 1 for 1 today. She had a single earlier today, right over the head of
swing. That's going to send that foul ball back into the screen for strike 2. So Underwood gets ahead of Nelson. This is an important batter for Underwood to try and get out of this bases loaded 1-out jam here in the top of the 3rd. Here's Underwood. This was swung on, sent into deep left field. Gregory's underneath it. She's going to make the play. No play at home as the run will score. Southern Miss strikes first, making it 1-0. But Underwood does get a very crucial out number 2 with the flyout. Gregory able to range back almost to the warning track to make the play.
Yeah, it was a good pitching there by Underwood there to get him to pop out. Yes, she did give up the run, but that's probably the second best thing that could have happened there, other than the strikeout, only allowing one run into score and keeping that runner on second base.
So 1-0 the score now, as Coach Key's going to meet with her entire infield and outfield as well. Southern Miss and Coach Wendy Hogue able to meet with her squad. And despite the second out being recorded off the flyout, the damage or the danger is not over just yet. Lauren Holyfield, arguably the best hitter on this Southern Miss lineup, or in the Southern Miss lineup rather, at the plate. She's had success here at Lovelace Stadium, had a huge Conference USA tournament named to the all-tournament team from last season.
She leads this lineup with 27 RBIs with 8 home runs as well for her this season.
She's also climbing the list of Southern Miss all-time home run leaders. She has 2 runners on here with 2 outs in the top of the third. Strike 1 is called, so it's 1-1 now the count. Whenever you are facing Lauren Holyfield, the last thing you want is having ducks on the pond. Here's Underwood to the plate. That one right down the middle, taken for strike 2. 1-2 as Holyfield might be regretting taking that pitch. That looked pretty good.
And it looked pretty good. It looked almost right down the middle. I'm not sure if maybe that was off speed and she wasn't expecting maybe an off-speed pitch there.
1-2 inside to even the count up at 2 apiece. Underwood, we talked about how crucial the last at-bat was. Did get an out, did give up a run. A fair trade there, but at the same time, this at-bat may be even more crucial just because of the firepower in the box. Here's the 2-2 and a called strike 3 as Underwood gets out of the bases loaded 1-out jam with only 1 run against her. So limited damage for the Mean Green as they have a chance to come back to the plate. We are heading to the bottom of the third. Thank you for watching COSA TV, powered by North Texas Television.
Is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new
North Texas lineup as we head to the bottom of the third. Kyle Yeomans alongside Nick Laupius as Nicole Ochanicki, the freshman, will come to the plate. Ochanicki hitting 169 on the season so far. She does have a home run with 5 RBI and a chance here to maybe scratch another one across and try and get that run back that was scored in the top of the third.
Yeah, they haven't had much going on for them. No hits so far. Croson has gotten the first 6 batters out with relative ease, and now she does have 1 run up there supporting her. So it'd be really important for North Texas to respond here. Maybe get a couple of hits, maybe put a little bit of pressure on Croson. They haven't done so far.
There's a swing and a hard ground ball to short, picked up by Nelson, and the throw to first is good for out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 out once again as Ochanicki grounds out to Nelson at short. On the North Texas side of things, Gregory has to be kicking herself for that first error in the third inning. Ended up starting the rally and ended up getting Stacy Underwood into the jam. This ball is going to be at high. 1-0 now the count.
Yeah, it looked like it took a bad bounce there, maybe at the last second, but like you said, did start the bases loaded rally there for Southern Miss and resulted in the 1 run. But a good job there by Underwood to only keep it to 1 run with the loaded bases with only 1 out. Did a good job only giving up the 1.
So 2-1 the count as that one is a little low for ball 2. 1 out. 1-0 the score. Southern Miss with the early lead. Still a lot of game left to play. There's a big swing and a foul. It looks like it hit off of Holyfield's glove.
As she's going to, or Stokes, excuse me. Stokes' glove as she'll shake it off. So Southern Miss giving their catcher a little bit of time to regain herself. So Croson with a 2-2 count to McCauley. McCauley on the season hitting .211. She has 6 RBIs. Here's the windup in the pitch. This one's going to be chopped into the middle of the infield. The throw to first is in time. Just barely able to get McCauley as Heather Hill, the second baseman, had to range over to her right, snag it, and turn around and make a quick throw. McCauley, who was booking down the first baseline, almost able to beat that one out.
Yeah, second baseman there showing a good job showing off her range and her speed, and able to get the ball, and then able to set her feet and make a good throw to first base.
There's a foul to start things off here for Bailey Thompson, the sophomore. 169 on the season. She has got 1 RBI to her total so far this season. There's the windup outside for ball 1. 1-1 now the count. Wind still blowing into right field. The lefties in all of these lineups definitely a chance to take advantage of this. Here's the chopper to short, corralled easily by Nelson, and another quick inning for Kim Croson and the Southern Miss Golden Eagles as North Texas goes down in order one time through the lineup for the Mean Green, and they have still yet to put a hit or a base runner on the board. So we are heading to the 4th inning. Underwood still in circle for the Mean Green. You're watching CUSA TV, powered by North Texas Television.
UNT is
The Battle of the Eagles, Conference USA edition. This one's going to be low for ball 1 as Underwood can't find the strike zone to start the 4th inning. Last inning, only 1 run, or only 1 hit, 1 error, 2 left on base, only 1 run across for Southern Miss, but that's enough to give them the lead so far in this impressive outing from Kim Croson inside the circle for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, this is definitely the pitcher's duel that we thought we would get. Only 1-0 right now. Underwood has not had a rough game so far. She's been pretty good. She has a couple of strikeouts here, but does have the 1 run against her, and no run support so far. But we still got a lot of game left to play.
Tori Dew 0 for 1, now down 1-2 in the current at bat. Underwood at 44 pitches. So far, she has 3 strikeouts and 1 walk. This one's going to be fouled up and onto the third base dugout, so the count will stay at 1-2. Dew coming into the game, a senior hitting .271, and the first baseman has 16 RBI. She had a chance in the second inning, but struck out on a Underwood fastball. The Underwood fastball is what she's gotten all 3 of her strikeouts on so far this afternoon. So 2-2 now the count. Dew has her back against the wall once again. Here's Underwood to the plate, struck out. Swinging on the high heat.
It was that fastball you were just talking about.
Yeah, Stacy Underwood putting some extra mustard behind that one, up out of the strike zone, and Dew couldn't adjust, so Tori Dew will sit down with her 2nd strikeout of the afternoon. That'll bring up Caitlin Aldis. Aldis made a nice play in right field earlier and struck out in her first at bat as well. So 4 strikeouts on the afternoon so far for Underwood, all of 4 coming on that fastball.
And that strikeout we just saw there, you talk about the fastball, the heat there, and then when she throws it up in the zone, it's almost impossible to get your hands up fast enough to make contact with that ball. But then again, you see a fastball coming up in the zone, it's almost impossible to resist to try and swing at it. But again, very difficult to try and get your hands up there and make contact.
So the count 1-1. Here's a bunt laid down. Underwood comes over, throws to first, not in time. And Aldis able to squeak out an infield bunt single to put a runner on here for Bailey Stokes, the catcher.
That was a good bunt there. Wasn't a fast-moving ground ball there to the pitcher, and she was just barely able to beat out the throw at first base.
Once again, this Southern Miss team doesn't run a whole lot, but they're efficient when they do. This one's going to be dropped. The tag on Aldis for out number 2. A smart play by Gregory at second base. Instead of catching it in the air, Lacey Gregory let the ball drop just in front of her, trying to catch maybe the hitter Bailey Stokes off guard and try and get a double play in that instance. And a nice job there to get at least one out there, not allow the drop to potentially affect things. So a runner on first base, and a runner on first base who has yet to attempt a steal compared to one who had never been thrown out this season. So a good trade-off there for North Texas.
And you talk about their smart play by the second baseman. Oh, and great grab there by Scotty to end the inning.
Yeah, Scotty makes the grab, and North Texas, despite a couple of Southern Miss base runners, able to get out unscathed. So 1-0 will remain the score as we head to the bottom of the fourth. This is Conference USA Softball presented by CUSA TV.
UNT.
In the mound, Coach Key and her squad heading to the plate here without a base runner on their docket so far. One time through their North Texas batting order, but Kelly Scotty a chance here, one of the top hitters and all CUSA first team hitter to say the least. Up to the plate now for Coach Tracy Key to try and get something started here, Nick.
Yeah, Scotty, again, like I mentioned before, one of the leaders on this North Texas team. Really, ever since she's got to North Texas, has really showed her skill.
This was going to be driven into deep right center field. Goodbye, Kelly Scotty strikes and ties it all up at 1.
Well, there we go. That's a way to get the first hit of the ball game for the Mean Green and tie it up all in one swing.
Scotty didn't take long. One pitch, one swing, one run here in the bottom of the fourth, as North Texas, like I said, ties it up at 1, and Kelly Scotty does it herself. Her 6th home run of the year, her 22nd RBI on her slate so far here in 2017. The senior coming through once again, playing the untraditional third base role so far this afternoon, but a home run there, ending the early perfect game bid for Kim Croson, and also ending the shutout bid all in one swing.
Oh, and there we see the changeup. As it looked like Scotty got a hold, kind of ambushed Croson there on the first pitch. Looked like she got a hold of the fastball and hit it at the deepest part of the park. And we saw right there Croson throwing the changeup on the first pitch, a little bit of off speed.
Yeah, hit it a little bit to the right of the 220 sign in right center field. Like you said, one of the deepest part of the ballpark. It's about 217 out there. But the one run will definitely help you. Whenever you have a home run and a batter like Kelly Scotty at the plate, you usually would want to have potentially more runners on base. But if you're able to tie a game up at 1, that's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like you said, it would be nice to have a couple of base runners on there. But just a great job, and I'm pretty sure they're really happy. First hit of the game is a home run. Like I said, get that taken care of and try and get to Croson a little bit here. Maybe get a couple of more hits, put some more pressure on her.
So here's the pitch, grounded to short, fielded by Nelson, and she'll throw to first to nab a limping Lindsey Gregory, as Gregory's going to hobble her way back to the dugout.
Yeah, on the second pitch of the at-bat, looked like she fouled it off her ankle. She had the catcher and the umpire gave her a few seconds there before the next pitch, but it looks like it's still bothering her a little bit.
The first pitch to Lacey Gregory, the twin of Lindsey, both playing middle infield, wearing the single-digit numbers 2 and 6, as Lacey's going to take that one inside to make the count 2-0.
And Croson has showed us why she has a 1.75 ERA with, able to change up, the pitch speed. Almost impossible to kind of guess exactly what pitch she's throwing, and always keeping the hitters off balance there. As we see, she starts off with a changeup and then goes in with the fastball.
Here's the 2-1 pitch in there for strike two, and you have a completely valid point, Nick, in terms of switching from the fastball to the changeup. There's only a certain threshold in sciences, and there's a strike three called on Gregory, kind of what I was talking about, though. You can't look and potentially see which pitch is coming out of her hand. You have to adjust depending on how fast the pitch is coming to you, and as soon as you sit back on a changeup, she's going to turn up the velocity a little bit and put it in the strike zone for a quick fastball, blow it right by you, or you'll turn around and look at the fastball, potentially waiting on the velocity to hit, and then she'll throw you a soft pitch and kind of tie you up in knots as you put a big swing on it. But that is exactly why Kim Croson has been so effective so far this season. 7-7 record, but that was ripped but foul just over the outstretched glove of Holyfield and into foul territory. But kind of like what I was saying, 7-7 overall record, not necessarily anything impressive from Croson, but the 1.75 ERA, and especially with a low strikeout total, only 46 strikeouts on the season, is really a testament to the kind of confusion she's able to put on hitters. There's another slow changeup. That one's low and outside for ball two.
And you see right there, you cannot tell from her windup, her delivery, if a changeup's coming right there. The windup, again, very quick, very explosive, and then the ball comes in. Just the quite opposite of what the delivery is. So always keeping the hitters off balance. You see right here, looks like a couple of foul balls pretty early on, both of them that she's fouled off here.
Looks like so far Danielle Gregory, left fielder's been sitting fastball. She's hit two of them into foul territory on the left-hand side. Wouldn't be surprised here for Croson to come back with a changeup. There it is, exactly as I was just saying, in a bloop into right field, as Aldis will come on and make the play for out number 3. But not before Kelly Scotty on the first pitch of the bottom of the fourth ties the game up at 1 with a solo home run to right center field. It's 1-1 as we head to the 5th. You're watching CUSA TV, powered by North Texas Television.
UNT is more than 125 years in the making.
Alongside Nick Laupius as we head to the 5th here at Lovelace Stadium. Underwood in the circle, facing Heather Hill, the second baseman. Hill was out on a sacrifice in her first at bat back in the 3rd inning, as she will take for ball 1.
The freshman Heather Hill having a difficult season here, maybe adjusting to college play. Only 5 hits in 35 at bats this season, only hitting 143, but only a freshman, plenty of time to improve and to kind of build up the skill there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Sometimes just the pace has to involve some adjustment, as there's a little bit more pace there from Underwood, and Hill was barely able to get a bat on the ball to foul it off. So 1-2 now the count. Underwood, 4 innings of work so far this afternoon, 3 hits, 1 run to her docket. She has struck out 4 and walked 1. And the 1 run came as an unearned run, as this one swung and fouled off, looked like the handle and then off the body of Hill.
Yeah, right there, looked to Crowder a little bit, made contact somehow, and then looked like, I'm not sure if her hands are a little bit stung, or if, like you said, maybe off her body as well. But right there, a good job just making contact on a pitch that crowded her right there.
So the count stays at 1-2. Time is called by home plate umpire Troy Kirkendall, as it looks like a ball flew in from the bullpen from Southern Miss's side. Looks like a couple players just playing catch in the bullpen, as the ball did make its way onto the playing field. So 1-2 as Underwood's going to hit Hill. Looked like it just hit her right on the inside part of her elbow, it looked like, as Hill will slowly make her way to first base. And looks like for a second here, Coach Wendy Hogue and the first base coach for Southern Miss also going to check out Hill to make sure she's okay.
Yeah, it looks like the third base coach there talking to the umpire, maybe not too happy that 2 straight pitches were really crowding her player there. A difficult at bat there for Heather Hill, getting hit a couple of times there, but able to make it pan out, and they have a base runner now here to start off the 5th. And he looks like the umpire maybe gave a warning.
Yeah, Coach Kirkendall may have, or not Coach Kirkendall, but home plate umpire Kirkendall may have issued a warning. I don't think that was anything deliberate.
Was an extended conversation between the umpire and the third base coach, so I'm not sure if, again, that had to do with the previous at bat, but it looks like he might have issued a warning maybe to both benches.
So Rachel Johnson, who walked in her first at bat back in the 3rd, showing bunt. That one's going to be called a strike. So the count will be 1-1. Another reason why I don't think it was anything deliberate is because Hill has had some success running and stealing bases, 3 for 5 on the season. That pitch called a strike on the outside part of the plate. So 1-2 now the count to Johnson.
It's important here, maybe try and get a strikeout here. Still nobody out, runner on first. Get a strikeout here, maybe get a ground ball.
Not to mention the top of the lineup starts next, as this one's going to hit the runner, so Hill will be out, but Johnson will be at first base. Actually, Eva Scott was the runner at first base for Heather Hill. They substituted Hill after the hit by pitch, but she is out as the ground ball did hit her in the foot just before it got to Gregory at second base.
And that's why you always got to pay attention, know where the ball's at when you're in the base path, because you do get hit if you do make contact with the ball when you're running. That does result in you being out.
That's exactly right, Coach Laupius.
I used to
get out of the way.
Yeah, I used to umpire some youth baseball back in my day.
Here's a run from Johnson, and the tag is not put on Johnson as Gregory came over. A little bit of a wide throw coming from Ocheniki, and looked like Gregory couldn't adjust to the nice slide coming across as Johnson slid right underneath the tag, went level to the ground, and able to slide on into second base for a stolen base there.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty good throw, and just a good job of avoiding the tag and getting, just like you said, just barely underneath the tag for a stolen base there.
It wasn't necessarily a bad throw from Ocheniki, just a little bit off the bag, and because of that, it made Gregory have to adjust just a hair, and that's what ended up missing Johnson on the slide attempt. So the senior is in scoring position, and the top of the lineup up. Chase Nelson on deck, Samantha Reynolds at the plate. 2-2 the count. Underwood still in the circle for the Mean Green. This one caught a ball, and it'll fill the count up at 3-2.
Underwood, aside from the hit pitcher there, has done a pretty good job from bouncing back from that difficult 3rd inning.
There's a slap into left field, foul. Gregory may have had a little bit of a play on that, just couldn't get there in time.
So try to make another sliding catch and get her total up to 2 today.
That's exactly right. She had a nice play back in the 1st inning for actually the first out of the entire game.
Start off the game with a nice sliding catch.
So 3-2. This one is outside for ball 4. So Underwood issuing her second walk of the afternoon. Key takes a couple steps out of that home dugout and goes right back to her coaching bucket. So 1 out, 2 runners on for Chase Nelson. Nelson so far on the afternoon 1 for 2. She had a single back in the 3rd, and then a line out in the first inning. So she has put good bat on the ball twice.
And she does have the RBI right now for Southern Miss. She had there in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, that was it. You're exactly right. It was a sac fly in the 3rd inning. Chance here to add to that total. Here's a high fly ball. Gregory underneath it, coming forward to make the grab for out number 2. So that's a big out for for Coach Key's squad, and especially for Stacy Underwood trying to get out of the jam. But once again, here comes Lauren Holyfield.
This sounds familiar here. Runner first and second, 2 outs.
That's exactly right. Holyfield, who struck out looking back in the 3rd inning. And then she hit into a line drive double play back in the 1st. There's a couple ducks on the pond. Once again, the same exact situation that she had back in her at-bat in the 3rd, and a big strikeout from Underwood as she gets ahead here 0-1.
Yeah, a little bit stressful here for Underwood and Coach Key. For past few innings, Holyfield has been at the plate with a couple of runners on base. I'm sure it's not ideal. Oh, what a play.
There's a line right to Gregory at short for out number 3. So despite another couple base runners for Southern Miss, North Texas and Stacy Underwood get out of it, and we will head to the bottom of the 5th. It is Rebar, Gerke, and Ocheniki due up for the Mean Green. This is CUSA TV, powered by North Texas Television.
UNT
5-6-7 due up for North Texas, and a chance here to potentially take the lead for the first time this afternoon. North Texas 1 run on 1 hit, that coming from Kelly Scotty at the top of the 4th. Had a first pitch home run to right center field to tie it up at 1. Other than that, it's been a pitching duel between Kim Croson and Stacy Underwood, Nick.
Yeah, and right now only 1 hit for the Mean Green. It was the home run, but only 1 base runner so far today for the Mean Green, so they got to try and rack up a couple more hits here. And here, still at the toward the middle of the order, would be a perfect time to get a couple of runners on.
Technically no base runners for North Texas.
Oh, yeah.
She touched all 4, but that was about it. Here's a changeup in there for strike
again.
1. So 1-1 now the count to Rebar. Rebar, who has been hitting extremely well as of late, had a big weekend in Charlotte, trying to continue the success that she had then. Croson in the circle today, 4 innings of work, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 earned. She has struck out 2, and of course, she gave up the 1 home run to Kelly Scotty. She has 47 pitches to her total so far. This one in there for strike 2, the call coming from Troy Kirkendall.
Still cannot get over how wicked that changeup is. And I can only imagine being in the box. Right there you see the fastball.
There's a check swing, and the appeal to first is going to say that Rebar did go around. So there's the 3rd strikeout of the afternoon from Croson. And that'll bring up Hannah Gerke. Gerke 0 for 1 on the afternoon thus far. And she will head back into the box. She struck out in her first attempt. One of the big tales of the tape so far this afternoon has been this changeup, as that one's going to drop in for strike 1, and being able to keep these North Texas hitters off balance. They haven't necessarily had any success other than the 1 swing from Kelly Scotty. There's a fastball just outside to make the count 1-1.
Yeah, and the changeup, again, just keeping the hitters off balance. Scotty did, the home run was on a first pitch fastball, it looked like, but other than that, like you mentioned, not a lot of luck. Really, the UNT hitters being fooled, honestly, by this changeup and the off speed. Not able to figure it out here.
This one's going to be chopped to second, and just like that, Gerke's able to get on with an infield single. The second baseman, Hill, couldn't handle it initially, tried to pick it up and throw it over to Dew at first, but it wasn't in time. So there's the first real base runner for North Texas throughout the game. Be interesting to see if that's ruled a hit or an error. Hill did have to range over just a little bit, and they are going to count it an error. So only 1 hit still on the board for North Texas, but they do have a base runner with nobody out here, or with one out, excuse me, here in the bottom of the 5th. That one called for strike 1 against Ocheniki.
Ocheniki only 5 RBIs here so far this season. a 169 average, with 71 at bats, only 12 hits so far this season for the freshman. She had a ground out to short earlier today, 0 for 1. Looking to make up for that right here, maybe get the runner in scoring position.
She does have a little bit of power. She has hit a home run so far this season. So that one's going to be outside for ball 2. Actually, I believe it's ball 1. So 1-2 the count. Here's Ochanicki. Like you said, hitting 169 on the season. This one's grounded to Holyfield. Over to second for 1, to first, not in time for the double play, but they do get the fielder's choice at second, as Gerke will make her way back to the third base dugout. So 2 outs and a runner still on first for North Texas. Ochanicki on first, bringing Riley McCauley to the plate, the first baseman. Last time up, grounded out to second, so 0 for 1 on the afternoon. So after the fielder's choice, 2 outs here for Croson and a chance to keep her impressive afternoon alive. The changeup's going to be hit hard up the middle, mishandled initially, and the bag is going to be touched with the right hand from Nelson. She grabbed the ball over the bag with her glove side, and with her throwing arm just barely tapped the bag for out number 3. So a potential chance there for North Texas doesn't go very far, as they couldn't get a runner past first base. But we are heading to the 6th, all tied it up at 1. It's North Texas softball presented by CUSA TV. Around the Conference USA slate, La Tech defeats UAB in Game 1 5-0. That affects this CUSA West standings race. And then UTSA defeating FIU 5-4 in Game 1. So UTEP, the bottom team in this CUSA West bracket in terms of overall tiebreaker. They improved to 5-8, and that reigns to be a very big win for that UTEP Miners squad, especially whenever they have Southern Miss and UTSA tied at 4-8 apiece as well.
Oh yeah, that puts pressure not only on Southern Miss but on North Texas too, depending on how this series goes out. So definitely very important result there for both of these teams.
With La Tech defeating UAB, they continue to increase their advantage over the CUSA West, kind of starting to separate themselves. But the 2nd through 6th spots all separated very thinly, as Scotty's going to come on and make the play on the pop out. So 1 out here for Underwood. And so Estrada out with that pop out.
And again, you go back to the results of those last games. That just makes this 3-game series that much more important. Again, not only especially for Southern Miss, but North Texas too, because they, depending on how this series goes for North Texas, they could be tied up with Southern Miss for that 3 spot. So again, just very important for both these teams this weekend.
That's exactly right. Aldis is going to send that one past the outstretched glove of Gregory and into center field for her 2nd hit of the afternoon. She improves to 2 and 3 so far. She had a single back in the 4th and then adds one here in the 6th. So 1 runner on with 1 out, and that's going to bring Bailey Stokes, the catcher, to the plate.
With that hit, looks like she's the first hitter today on either side to have multiple hits. So
she is indeed.
Both singles, but at both hits, and get a base runner on first with only 1 out. Put a little more pressure again on Underwood. I think she's had to face a little more stress, some more pressure so far today. More base runners for Southern Miss. She has done a good job though, keeping it to just the 1 run.
She has done very well. She's pitched 5 in the 3rd. She has 4 hits against her, 1 run, that one not being earned. She's walked 2 and struck out 4. And really, it just comes down to the lack of run support for both these squads. The pitchers are doing well, and if you're Southern Miss, it's kind of a deja vu moment. This is a team that, if they can put up more than 2 runs, they're 17-2 overall. If they put up less, or 2 runs or less, as this was going to be popped high in the shallow center field. Coming on to make the play is Gregory for out number 2. But like I was saying, Southern Miss 2-17 when scoring 2 or less runs. on the season. So,
And that goes back, Croson. She does have a 1.75 ERA, but she's 7-7, so that does show maybe she's not getting as much run support that she needs. I think she did get some more run support. Again, only 1.7. I can't get over. That's a really good ERA, and only to be 7-7, not getting too much help there from her offense.
and that one is going to go into right center to throw to third is not in time. From our angle, it looked like Scotty may have put the tag on at third. That was a close call. Caitlin Aldis going from second to third, trying to go from first to third. And a close call at third base. And I don't know about that one. That was a close call there, but instead, runners on the corner with 2 outs as the North Texas infield will meet together inside the circle once again.
Did look like Scotty got the tag maybe a little high, and usually when that happens, usually the foot is on the bag first. Good base running there. Again, if maybe the tag was a little bit lower, we could say, oh, that was not a good idea to reach for third, but ends up making it work for her. So runners here on the corners with 2 outs.
Here's Coach Key meeting with her entire squad. So like you said, runners on the corners, 2 outs. Here in the top of the 6th, the bang-bang play at third. As Aldis tried to stretch it from first to third, and she was able to do so, just getting under the tag from Kelly Scotty. So Southern Miss threatening here. Heather Hill coming to the plate. She is officially 0 for 0 on the day. She had a sacrifice back in the third and a hit by pitch in the 5th. And a chance here with runners on to regain the lead for Southern Miss. Hill, who was hit by the pitch in the 5th inning, ended up being substituted on the base path and re-entered as a hitter. So Underwood back in the circle. Southern Miss threatening. The game tied at 1 as this one's low to make the count 1-0.
Very important at bat here for Underwood, trying to keep this game tied to get it to her offense, to maybe try and get her a little bit of run support. She hasn't played with the lead at all so far today. It's either been tied or down a run.
Yeah, Pollock is just going to swipe second base with no throw from Ochaniki. So 2 runners now in scoring position for Heather Hill, second baseman who has been successful on both sides of the ball today, had the sacrifice and then reached base in her second at bat. This one called for a strike, making the count 2-1.
Right now it's important for Underwood not to focus on the runners on second and third. Just focus right now with 2 outs. Just focus on the batter. Try and get a strikeout here.
2-1 as Underwood goes. This one softly grounded to Gregory at short. The play at first is in time, and North Texas gets out of the jam. They had 2 runners in scoring position for Southern Miss, and Gregory able to fire it to McCauley for out number 3. North Texas coming back to the plate when we come back here on CUSA TV, powered by North Texas Television. North Texas and Southern Miss tied up at 1 here from Lovelace Stadium. A tightly contested ball game thus far between 2 teams that are tightly contested in the CUSA West standings as well. North Texas 6-6 in the CUSA brackets, and then Southern Miss at 4-8. Some positioning on the line in this 3-game series. This is the first of 3. The second one will be coming up at the conclusion of this one. And then, of course, the Sunday leg being played tomorrow afternoon here from Lovelace as well. Big weekend for North Texas Athletics. The spring game going on. North Texas Soccer had an exhibition this morning. And then, of course, the 3-game set here for North Texas Softball and Southern Miss, as Thompson will lead things off, and she's called for a strike as she tried to lay that one down there.
Right now, Bailey Thompson looking to get on base here, because right on deck is Kelly Scotty. She has the only run here for North Texas. A little bit, so it's tightly contested ball game, tied at 1. North Texas can get a lead, maybe a 1 or 2 run lead. They're pretty good in tight games this year. North Texas is 7-3 in 1-run games this season. So trying to get maybe a couple of base runners, maybe get a base runner here, get Scotty at the plate with the base runner on first with nobody out. Could be a good inning.
You talked about North Texas being good in one-run games. So is the Southern Miss squad. They're 6-6 in one-run games as there's a swing and a miss for strike 3 as Thompson will sit down, but that'll bring Kelly Scotty to the plate. Scotty, of course, with the home run back in the top of the 4th to lead things off for the Mean Green and to tie things up at 1 apiece. And that is the only success that North Texas has had. North Texas only 2 at-bats with runners on base. No at-bats with runners in scoring position, and Scotty back to the plate will take that one low in the dirt for ball 1.
Scotty earlier with her 6th home run of the season on a first pitch fastball from Croson, but other than that, like you mentioned, really no success for the Mean Green batters at the plate against Croson today.
Croson has been dominant thus far, 5 1/3, 1 hit, 1 run. That one, of course, from Kelly Scotty. She's only given up 2 base runners, the other one off of an error. And that is it for this North Texas offense so far this afternoon. Here's Scotty again. The changeup is in there for strike 1, 2-1 now the count.
Really good job again by Croson. Getting that first batter out, making sure no base runners for Kelly Scotty.
That one nicking the inside part of the plate to make it 2-2. Scotty, all CUSA hitter, swings and fouls that one off back behind her to keep the count even at 2 apiece.
I talked earlier about Underwood having to pitch in some stressful situations so far this game. Croson really hasn't had that at all. Like you said, only 1 other base runner was on an error, but other than that, it's been a pretty smooth sailing here for Croson.
Here's the 2-2. Scotty was able to wait back on the changeup and barely get a tip of the bat on there to foul it back to the screen and keep her at bat alive. Scotty has 44 hits on the season, 31 runs in 119 at bats. This is our 120th, and there's a swing and a miss, and there's a big strikeout from Kim Croson. That's her 5th on the afternoon, and none bigger than sitting Kelly Scotty down. Scotty not striking out a whole lot this season. That's only her 6th time she's been down on strikes.
Yeah, it's like you said, really important to get that strikeout from probably the best hitter on this North Texas lineup this late in the game as well. Very impressive strikeout there.
So Gregory now at the plate. There's a called strike from home plate umpire Troy Kirkendall. 0-1 now the count. Here's Croson again. It's going to hit the outside corner for strike 2. Gregory did not like that call one bit. Tilted her head back in disappointment after the call was made. Here's the 0-2 on the outside part of the plate. Called a ball. That one not missing by much.
Yeah, it looked almost in the same spot as the previous pitch, but right there, Gregory able to make it pan out in that take. Ooh,
1-2 inside, almost nicked Gregory's elbow, but is instead 2-2. The Southern Miss infield playing more toward the corners. Wide open in the middle of the infield. This one off the hop, bobbled initially. The throw is in time as Gregory unable to beat out the infield single, and Hills able to make the play for out number 3. So 2 strikeouts that inning, including one of Kelly Scotty, as Kim Croson sits the Mean Green back down and puts her lineup back to the plate. We're heading to the 7th here from Lovelace Stadium. You're watching Conference USA Softball presented by CUSA TV. Lovelace Stadium heading to the 7th, and absolutely nothing has been decided through the first 6 innings of this one. Tied up at 1, Underwood back in the circle for the Mean Green. This one's going to be tipped off the glove of Ochanicki, and it is 1-0 now the count.
Rachel Thompson at the plate here. She's 1 for 1. She was walked earlier this game, and then she had a single there. So she's been on base a few times today for Southern Miss.
This one called for strike 1, 1-1 now the count. Some updates in game so far. Game 2 between La Tech and UAB scoreless in the first. Then game 2 between UTSA and FIU. UTSA has opened up a 1-run lead over the Panthers there. This one's going to be grounded to short. Gregory handles it over to McCauley at first. And there's a quick out number 1 for Underwood. Some more game updates. The end of one, UTEP leads Western Kentucky 3-0 in game 1 of that doubleheader. And then Marshall trailing to FAU, the defending CUSA champions, up on the current first place team in CUSA in the top of the second. So there's your Conference USA updates here.
Busy weekend for Conference USA softball.
It is a busy weekend. Softball in full swing. A lot of spring games around the country as well. North Texas, of course, hosting theirs just across the street. As this one's going to be called for ball 2. 2-1 now the count. Top of the order back up for Southern Miss, Samantha Reynolds and Chase Nelson on deck. Reynolds 1 for 2. She had a walk back in the 5th and then a single in the 3rd. This one's going to be grounded to Gregory at short. The quick throw to first is in time to nab Reynolds for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down so far in the top of the 7th for Underwood. And that's going to bring Chase Nelson to the plate. Nelson has had a nice day for her so far. She has 1 hit in 3 plate appearances, 2 official at-bats, 1 for 2 on the day.
And aside from that error there in the 3rd inning, Underwood's defense has been pretty good for her so far. Couple of nice catches, some good defensive awareness on the infield and in the outfield. So again, minus that 1 error, it's been pretty good defensively for North Texas today.
It has been indeed. The 1 error, and both teams have an error, so they kind of equal out there. But the 1 error from North Texas being the really big one, that's where the run came from. That was the only reason that run was on base. It was an unearned run tabbed against Stacy Underwood. And other than that, it's been pretty flawless from Underwood, the senior, so far today. The transfer from MCC. So this one's going to be skied in the shallow left field on to make the play. And the snag is Gregory. So 3 up, 3 down for the North Texas Mean Green defense as Underwood's able to shut down the Southern Miss lineup in the top of the 7th. Going to the bottom of the 7th, North Texas with a chance to win it when we come back here on CUSA TV, powered by North Texas Television. North Texas and Southern Miss tied at 1 as we head to the bottom of the 7th. North Texas 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error for the Mean Green, and then for Southern Miss 1 run, 5 hits, and 1 error for the Golden Eagles. Southern Miss has had 11 at-bats with runners on base, 2 hits in those 11 at-bats. That's a 182 average, and then 5 at-bats with runners in scoring position on the other side. North Texas has only had 2 at-bats total with runners on base, none with runners in scoring position. The 1 run coming off the Kelly Scotty solo back in the 4th.
Yeah, not a lot of base runners for North Texas, but right now Lacey Gregory at the plate. She is 0 for 2.
Here's a soft grounder. Holyfield over to make the play, cutting in front of Nelson, the shortstop, and the throw across the diamond is in time for out number 1. So that'll bring up Danielle Gregory to the plate. Of course, North Texas a chance to win it here. Gregory, no home runs on the season. She has 4 RBI.
She does only have 9 hits so far this season, and she's also 0 for 2 today, as many of the North Texas players are, with only 1 hit, again being the home run, and then 1 error.
It's a slow changeup in the strike zone for strike number 1, 0-1 now the count. Gregory, 273 hitter on the season. Like you said, not only 9 hits, but in a limited number of at-bats. She has only had 33 at-bats. I guess that's now 35 after her 2 this afternoon, as that one misses to make the count 1-1. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. North Texas with a chance to win it. Here's a swing and a soft grounder to Holyfield. Holyfield across the diamond and in time to nab Gregory for out number 2, and that'll bring up Hannah Rebar. Rebar on the season with 3 home runs, 11 RBI, most of that output coming in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and we mentioned at the top of the game that she's had a pretty good run of late, reached safely in 10 games. Right now, that's in a little bit of jeopardy, but I'm not sure. I don't think that's in the front of her mind.
This one's going to be over to second. The backhand and the throw from Hill is in time. And 3 up, 3 down. No hits, no runs, no one left on for North Texas. And we've got some extra softball here from Lovelace Stadium. Heading to extras, we're headed to the 8th here on CUSA TV, powered by North Texas Television.
Caring.
It's 3-4-5 as Holyfield will lead things off. This is only the second extra inning game for Southern Miss so far in the 2017 campaign. And if we're going by the results of their first extra inning game, we've got a whole long day ahead of us, Nick, because they went 14 innings against La Tech in their second head of their doubleheader on March 18th. They ended up losing that game 4-2. So 0-1 in extra innings from Southern Miss. This one's going to be driven to short. The sliding effort, the throw across her body is not in time, as Holyfield will reach first base. A beautiful throw from Gregory ended up pulling McCauley off the bag. That's a tough play. Maybe not a beautiful throw, a beautiful play.
Oh, yeah. Great effort.
A little bit of an arid throw. McCauley thought potentially that Holyfield may have missed first base. And McCauley tried to get the tag on in midair, just couldn't adjust enough, as she's going to try and shake off a little bit of a bruise. As a conversation with Troy Kirkendall, the home plate umpire, between Coach Wendy Hogue for Southern Miss. And just like that, one hitter, one on, as Holyfield singles to start things off here in the top of the 8th.
And you touched on it, McCauley there. The throw did take her off the base, but a great effort to try and apply the tag before Holyfield could get on first base.
There's a potential sacrifice bunt pulled back from Tori Dew. And that'll be ball 1, 1-0 the count.
And you did mention earlier, you just talked about the first extra inning game that they had went 14 innings. Well, that was the second game of a doubleheader, so hopefully we don't see that today, because this is just the first of a doubleheader.
There's a skied pop-up to center field. Thompson had to run a long way from her original positioning in center to make the play, but she does. So 1 out here for Underwood and a chance for a potential ground ball double play. Caitlin Aldis up to the plate. Aldis has some speed, 4-for-4 stealing. She did go from first to third on a shallow single early on.
She is 2 for 3 today, 2 singles. So it's something to look out for if she gets on base. Definitely some speed there, maybe trying to get Holyfield over maybe to third so she can find something into the gap.
Yeah, Aldis struck out in her first at bat back in the second, and then singled in her next 2. Underwood in the circle. Here's the pitch. This one's going to be bunted to third. Scotty comes over, pump fakes, gets the throw over in time, as Gregory was there to cover for McCauley, who was also crashing in from first, as Holyfield will advance to second. So 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. This will be at-bat number 6 of that category for Southern Miss tonight. They're 200, 1 for 5 so far.
I know Southern Miss did want to use the bunt there, but that's an important out for North Texas and for Underwood, as now there's 2 outs with a runner on second. As Stokes comes up to bat, she's 0 for 3. So again, a big second out there for North Texas.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Even though it does move Holyfield over to second base, Holyfield not necessarily a player to try and score on an outfield single. Have to be pretty deep, or either deeper in the gap in order to try and get her home. As Coach Key's going to meet with her entire squad. North Texas, of course, in the green tops, the pinstripe white bottoms. Underwood in the circle. She has 7 2/3 inning of work so far. 6 hits, 1 run, that one unearned. She's walked 2 and struck out 4. She has 100 pitches to her total so far. No one in the bullpen for North Texas.
And this is who you want in the circle if you're North Texas. She's been in this situation before. The senior has plenty of experience. And again, this is who you want in the circle if you're a North Texas fan.
You're exactly right. Stokes 0 for 2 on the afternoon so far. This one's going to be called strike 1 on the inside part of the plate. So the 1-1 from Underwood here, with Holyfield standing on second, 120 feet away from taking the lead. This one's going to be high for ball 2, 2-1 now the count.
North Texas right here, focus on the easiest out here. they're trying for a bunt, just try and get the out at first base and try and get it to your bats there to maybe end the game in the bottom of the inning.
This one's going to be popped into the back part of the infield, and Gregory is there to make the play. So an early base runner, for Southern Miss, as Holyfield was able to get on an infield single, but nothing going for Southern Miss. We're headed to the bottom of the 8th. This is CUSA TV, powered by North Texas Television. Kyle Yeoman's back alongside Nick Laupius to bring you this extra inning affair in the first leg of a doubleheader between Southern Miss and North Texas, all tied up at 1 here from Lovelace Stadium. A beautiful afternoon in the lower 80s. The wind has calmed down just a little bit. At game time, it was blowing 24 miles per hour out of the south. But since then, it has kind of been a mild wind from the south, Nick.
Oh yeah, it's been a great day for softball. Like you said, I mean, really not too many clouds in the sky, and the wind hasn't been too much of a factor. And hopefully we can get this good weather for the second game of our doubleheader. Hopefully, it shouldn't take too much longer to get to that game. Hopefully for the players too, because you don't want to, like you said, you don't want to play 14 innings there in the first game, and then you got to go back, and play a second game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 6, 7, 8 due up for North Texas, and the all-name team as well. Gerke, Ochiniki, and McCauley all up for the Mean Green, as that's a big swing and a miss. Gerke, took a big hack at the slow changeup for strike 1.
Gerke has reached base today. She was there on an error, one of only 2 base runners. Actually, she's the only base runner for North Texas so far. Again, the only hit for North Texas was the home run, and Gerke was able to reach on an error, but not able to do anything with that. But she has some experience today being on the base pass, so we'll see if she can get back out there.
There's a pitch just barely missing the outside part of the plate. 4 ball 1, 1-2 now the count. And if you're both of these pitchers for either one of the squads, you're kind of going back to the dugout, looking at your hitters saying, why? Just give me one run here to work with a lead, because both of them have been dominant, Underwood or Croson. Croson, 1 hit against her. Yes, it was a solo shot, but at the same time, she's been absolutely dominant. She has 5 strikeouts. A chance to add another one here. 1-2 the count to Gerke. Instead, it's going to be a ground ball finding a hole into center field, and Gerke will be on. Runner on first, nobody out. And that'll bring up Nicole Ochiniki to the plate.
That's a good start here in the bottom of the 8th. Get your first hitter on base with a nice single there by Gerke, and she's on base for the second time today for the Mean Green.
A lot of room to work with in the outfield. Infield playing double play depth. Nelson is over near short. The throw hits about halfway between the pitcher's mound and first base. And the air throw fielded nicely over at first by Southern Miss for out number 1. That could have been disastrous, but Tori Dew able to keep it in front of her, but it is going to move over Gerke to second base. That's going to bring up Riley McCauley.
Usually don't expect a pitcher to leave a ball short there thrown to first base, but like you said, a good job by the first baseman. Make sure they control the ball to get the out.
There's a timeout called by Southern Miss as Wendy Hogue will make her way to the circle and talk with her fielders. 1 out, runner in scoring position for the first time all afternoon for North Texas. They have not had an at-bat with a runner standing on second base. Of course, the 1 run off of a straight solo shot, and a chance here to end it in the bottom of the 8th with a base hit. If you're looking at stolen base attempts, you have Gerke on second base, 5 for 5 in stolen base attempts, so she does have speed to work with. The sophomore could potentially end this one on a second to home run on a base hit.
McCauley only with 6 RBIs so far on the season, but boy, would this be a huge one. Be a great time to get her 7th RBI of the season.
None would be bigger. if McCauley could get a base knock here. So here's the first pitch to McCauley. That one low in the dirt. Corralled by Stokes for ball one.
In order to get that 7th RBI, you got to figure out what pitch you want here against Croson. Again, try and stay back on that changeup if you can, and try and stay balanced, because Croson's been able to keep almost every single UNT batter off balance and guessing all game.
So 1-1, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. This one's going to be sliced foul over the visiting bullpen. 1-2 now the count to McCauley.
And again, right there on that foul ball, you see just how unbalanced they are. She was late on that last pitch. And again, just maybe just a tiny bit late on that one, just pushed that just barely foul.
Yeah, she was able to put a good bat on it, just unable to keep it in fair ground. That one may have been a game winner if it was able to squeak past Dew but stay fair. Instead, it's still 1-2. Here's McCauley at the plate. Croson is going to strike her out on an inside fastball. And there's 2 outs for Southern Miss. That's a big strikeout swinging for Kim Croson. That is her 6th on the afternoon, and that's going to bring a pinch hitter to the plate for the North Texas Mean Green. It's Harley Parilla, the sophomore. And Parilla coming to the plate, a chance here for one of her biggest at-bats and one of her biggest success stories of the season. If she can take advantage here. Parilla on the season is .294. She has 4 home runs and 21 RBI, a usual starter. This is actually the first game that she has not appeared in, or that she has appeared in but hasn't started. And she will make her way off of the bench for Coach Key in a very crucial spot. Runner on second, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th, a chance to win leg number 1 of this Conference USA softball doubleheader.
Well, isn't it great to have someone with such experience and some really good stats on your bench to bring in such a crucial situation here?
And the slow hitting.
That looked a little
Wow.
bit slower than usual.
It definitely did its job, as this one's going to be jammed off the inside part of the bat, and Parilla will ground out to Hill. And so North Texas can't scratch one across, and we're headed to some more extra softball here from Lovelace Stadium, heading to the 9th. North Texas, Southern Miss tied at 1 here on CUSA TV, powered by North Texas Television. To the 9th, the longest game for North Texas so far in the 2017 campaign. Underwood still in the circle for Coach Tracy Key. No surprise there. Despite her 104 pitches thrown so far today, she has 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 run, that one unearned, and 6 hits against her in all 8 innings thus far. So coming up for Southern Miss, it's going to be Ariel Pollock. It's 7-8-9 for Southern Miss, and a big chance here for Underwood to try and get her lineup unscathed back to the plate in the bottom of the 9th here.
Talk about both pitchers here having a great day. It's a shame one of them has to lose, but that's just the fact. You know, one team has to win, one team has to lose. But both pitchers right now playing really great.
Pollock off the tip of the bat, gets it over to Scotty. Scotty gets it to McCauley in time for out number 1. And what a flawless play, coming over, ranging to her left, picking it up without any kind of, I guess, pump fake or bobble or miscue by any means. And the fire to first just in time to catch the speedy Pollock for out number 1.
Yeah, it's a tough play there for Scotty. And then she fires an absolute laser to first base, just barely beating out the runner.
Here's the first pitch to Hill, fouled up and over the backstop and into the crowd for strike number 1. Underwood has the 0-1 count to Hill. Hill 0-1 on the afternoon so far. She had a sacrifice back in the 3rd, a hit by pitch in the 5th where she reached base. And then grounded back out in the 6th inning, as this one's going to tip off the glove of Ochanicki. 1-1 now the count.
The freshman having a difficult day at the plate. Hit a couple of times in her second at bat, and then a ground out to shortstop. Did lay down a sacrifice bunt though earlier. And there she gets hit again. So that's the 3rd time. It's the 2nd time she'll go on base for a hit by pitch, and then she was hit earlier off a foul tip. She fouled off her foot. So a difficult day for Heather Hill. But hey, she's on base yet again.
It's almost like a Scott Sterling situation here from Lovelace Stadium. Hill getting hit off of the foul ball, getting hit by pitch twice. We'll keep a close eye on it. Maybe something else will happen on the bases. You never want that to happen.
Yeah. She has a little bit better though. She's had a couple of innings in between getting hit by the pitch, so she's had some time to kind of regroup and rebound off of that.
So 1 out, runner on first here for Southern Miss as the train passes in left field.
A little noisy now.
Yeah, a little bit. We'll see if we can get a horn here in a minute, as that one's taken for strike 1. 1-1 now the count. 1 out with a runner on first in the top of the 9th. There's a train horn.
There we go.
Here's the pitch. It's going to be grounded past Scotty on the left side of the infield, and just like that, here's Southern Miss threatening in the top of the 9th as they have 2 runners on, and here come the top of the lineup for the Golden Eagles as Samantha Reynolds will make her way to the plate.
Reynolds reached base twice so far. She has a single and then a walk, so she's been on base twice so far. It looks like the Mean Green might have someone up in the bullpen now, with that pitch count up to 112 for Underwood.
Yeah, it's Lauren Crane in the bullpen for the Mean Green. It's either going to be her or Jessica Elder starting the 2nd game of the series this afternoon. But for now, it's still Underwood in the circle. It's her game with 8 1/3 innings pitched, as this one's outside for ball 1. Runner on first and second. Pitch count now up to 113 for Underwood.
Look out for Rachel Johnson there on second base. She has a little bit of speed there and looked like she had a big lead there off a second.
Yeah, it's actually Heather Hill at second base. Johnson's on first. You're exactly right. A big lead for Hill at second base. She hasn't stolen a base all year long, but with Scotty and the infield corners playing in, wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea to try it here, as that one's a called strike. So 1-2 now the count. That potentially takes away the bunting possibility from Samantha Reynolds, and Scotty's going to back up just a little bit more. McCauley's still in on the first base line. Here's the pitch from Underwood, high for ball 2. 2-2 now the count.
I know this goes without saying. A very important at bat, and this next pitch very important to try and get the strikeout for the 2nd out.
Not to mention that you have Chase Nelson on deck, and then Lauren Holyfield in the hole for Southern Miss, as this one's on the outside part of the plate. A called strike 3 as Reynolds will sit down. She's 1 for 4 on the afternoon now after that strikeout looking here in the top of the 9th. Huge strikeout for Underwood. That's her 6th on the night, actually her 5th, excuse me, on the night, on the afternoon.
Chase Nelson now up. She only has 4 RBIs coming into today, so not too much of a threat, I would think, here. But again, you got to pitch very carefully here, because maybe a little hit into the gap could possibly bring that runner from first all the way home if she was able to get it out in the gap.
Yeah, the danger is not done just yet, as that one misses for ball 2. 2-0 the count. Nelson 1 for 3. She had a single back in the first to get things started for Southern Miss. She had a sac fly RBI in the 3rd, and then she flew out in the 5th and then popped out in the 7th. So this one's a called strike to bring the count back to 2-1. Underwood now up to 118 pitches on the afternoon.
I should say she does have 5 RBIs with that RBI today, that sac fly. So sorry about that. It is 5 RBIs for her so far this season.
This one misses outside to make it a hitter's count at 3-1. The green light has to be on here for Nelson.
You do not want to load the bases here for Holyfield.
Not at all. Holyfield, as dangerous as she is power-wise, as this one's going to be lined into left field. And Hogue is going to hold Hill at third base, but the bases are juiced for Lauren Holyfield, a player who has had a grand slam in this stadium before. I was on the call for her game last year against UTSA in the Conference USA tournament, or it was against UTEP, excuse me, where she hit a grand slam in the first inning to put Southern Miss up 5-0 over the Miners, as she hit it right underneath the Papa John sign on the Lovelace Stadium scoreboard. So Coach Key is making her way to the circle. A big decision here from Coach to set her team up for success. Holyfield on the day, she is 1 for 4. She hit into a line drive double play in the first, an impressive play from Kelly Scotty. She struck out looking back in the third inning, and then she lined out in the fifth. So the one time that she has had runners on, or has had nobody on base, was whenever she had the single back in the eighth inning. And then the one time, or the rest of the time, when she's had 1 or 2 runners on base, she's either lined out or popped out.
Yeah, for her strikeout and her line out to shortstop, she had runners on first and second with 2 outs. Now she has the bases loaded with 2 outs. She does have 8 home runs on the season, so she definitely has power, and a very, again, goes without saying, a very, very critical at-bat here for Underwood.
So a little bit of cloud cover here from Lovelace Stadium, as that one is in there for strike 1 from Underwood. The biggest at-bat of the afternoon. That may not be the first time I say this before this one is over. Here's Underwood again to the plate. Holyfield takes for strike 2. So 2 pitches, 2 takes, and 2 strike on Holyfield, as Underwood gets ahead in the count here, 0-2. 2 outs, bases loaded. Underwood toes the rubber. Here's the pitch. That one fouled, lined straight into the first base dugout.
Looked like a last-second decision there to just try and make contact and try and extend the at-bat, and did just that.
It was a perfect pitch from Underwood right on the outside corner, trying to get Holyfield to chase, and she did. Here's the 0-2, just on the outside part of the plate. A big smile from Underwood, a high five from Coach Key, as Holyfield strikes out looking for the second time on the afternoon. None bigger than that one, as she does it with the bases loaded. All 3 left on for Southern Miss. We're headed to the bottom of the 9th. North Texas, Southern Miss, tied at 1 here on CUSA TV, powered by North Texas Television. Welcome back to Lovelace Stadium, where Stacey Underwood was able to just get a strikeout looking on a questionable outside pitch, a couple inches outside the plate, and nice framing job from Ocheniki, able to nab the Southern Miss power hitter with the bases loaded on a strikeout looking for out number 3. But here's the chance for North Texas. The top of the order due up: Scotty, Lindsey Gregory, and Lacey Gregory for North Texas here to start things off. As Scotty, of course, 1 for 3 on the afternoon with a solo shot back in the 4th inning to tie this up at 1 apiece, and a chance here to potentially be the hero once again for this North Texas squad.
Yeah, and she's done it before. The senior has had, just tons of experience. She's had, done a great job for this team. Again, like I've mentioned before, she's pretty much the leader of this team. Someone you want at the plate to start off the bottom of the 9th right here for North Texas in a tie game.
That last half inning, North Texas, or Southern Miss, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, 3 left on, as they were unable to scratch across another one on Stacey Underwood, as Underwood had her back against the wall and pulled through for the Mean Green. Here's Kelly Scotty. She's going to square to bunt here. That's an interesting strategy from Scotty. She does have the speed to reach first on an infield bunt, maybe looking for just base runners here, but now she's down 0-2 in the count.
And we're talking about Kim Croson here. You got to think she's a little upset. Her team has had the bases loaded twice, and they've only come away with one run the whole game. So you got to think she's maybe a little bit upset there, not getting the run support that she needs right here. She's pitched a tremendous game here.
She has indeed. Here's the 1-2, high for ball 2, as the count will even up.
But again, a good job there by Underwood to able to work out of both of those bases loaded jams there, only giving up one run.
The wind picking up again. Here's Scotty, a hard ground ball. Holyfield can't handle it, and Scotty using her speed to reach on the infield single. I believe that's going to be ruled a hit. We'll see what the official score is.
It was a very hard hit ball. Tough bounce there for Holyfield there at third base. But yeah, I'm with you. I think that should be scored a hit there.
We'll wait for the official score to say anything, but instead, here comes Lindsey Gregory with a runner on first, the second inning in a row where North Texas has had a runner on first base. The bunt laid down perfectly in time for out number 1, but Scotty is moved over to second, so a runner in scoring position. They're going to count that an error against Holyfield. That's an interesting ruling there. I thought it was a hard hit ball.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I completely agree with that ruling there. Like you said, it was a pretty hard hit ball. But right there, like you said, a perfect bunt laid down there by Lindsey Gregory. And now you have Scotty there on second with her speed, and now Lacey Gregory up at bat. She has 28 RBIs so far on the season, 5 home runs, 8 doubles. So this is a good position here for the Mean Green.
The freshman taking for strike 1, and this may be the biggest opportunity for North Texas so far to win the ball game here in extras. Bottom of the 9th, your fastest player on second, and a solid freshman hitter. This one's in the right field. Key is waving Scotty around third. The throw and home is in time, and Scotty is thrown out at the plate. The winning run is cut off by a beautiful throw from Aldis in right field, and the Southern Miss Golden Eagles are not done just yet. Key waved Scotty around third base, and the throw was well in time to get Scotty.
Not only was it on time, it was perfectly placed right there in the glove, so the catcher was able to catch it and not even have to move the glove too much to apply the tag. Perfect throw there by Aldis there in right field.
So the celebration put on hold for just a bit for the Mean Green, as that one's going to be taken high for ball 1 to Danielle Gregory, the senior, hitting .273 on the season. Coming into this one, a chance with a runner on first, as time is going to be called by Southern Miss. A trio of conversations in the Southern Miss infield. 1-0 the count to Gregory. Once again, a beautiful throw coming in from the right fielder, Caitlin Aldis, to nail Scotty at home plate and keep this ball game alive for the Golden Eagles. And you talked earlier in the inning about Croson maybe being upset about the lack of run support. How about the defensive help she got there to keep this one alive?
Yeah, again, just a great play there. That was a great effort, too, by the second baseman on the dive.
Here's the stealing attempt, and she's safe. The ball was dropped by Nelson initially. The tag was on and in time, but Nelson couldn't hold on. And so the runner moves into scoring position for North Texas. Gregory able to steal.
Out there, that was a great throw by the catcher, right on the right to the glove. Didn't have to move the glove to apply the tag, but then the ball coming out of the glove there at the last second. A great job by the umpire, being right on it, seeing that the ball was out of the glove, and a stolen base. And now we have a runner in scoring position again.
That's
for
only
North Texas.
Gregory's third attempt stealing on the season, and she is 3 for 3 in that category. So there's a taken strike to even the count up at 2 apiece. And once again, another runner in scoring position for North Texas. They've had 3 here in extra innings and have been unable to scratch a run across. Neither team has been successful in that runners in scoring position category. The one hit coming from Gregory just a couple moments ago, and Scotty was, of course, nailed at home plate.
I am a little confused why they sent her, because like you said, it's not like it was a bang-bang play. The throw was there well ahead of Scotty. So maybe not too sure why they would send him.
There's a pitch on the outside part of the plate. Some of the Southern Miss fans are really wanting a strike three called there. Full count now to Gregory. 2 outs. Runner on second for North Texas. Tie ball game in the bottom of the 9th. Here's the pitch. This one high for ball 4. And Danielle Gregory will reach for the first time tonight. So Rebar now up to the plate. As time is going to be called, Coach Key talking to her squad on the third base line, and Southern Miss is going to convene around the pitcher's rubber.
And you talked about the Southern Miss fans there on the last few pitches, a little bit upset at the call. And it goes back to the top of the 9th when they feel it was maybe a little bit outside on the third strike call on Holyfield, and they feel maybe they should have gotten the call there. And now going back right now, we have Rebar coming up to bat. She's reached safely in her last 10 games. She hasn't gotten on base yet. So then this, again, would be a great time to keep that streak going and maybe get the run in, and in this first of the doubleheaders here, give North Texas the win.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Reached safely in her last 10 games. That streak in jeopardy here, but no better chance to, or no better situation to do that. As if she can hit a single into the outfield here, or at least keep the inning alive for North Texas. Here's the pitch from Croson. The lobbing changeup. This one hit deep into center field. It's gone! North Texas and Hannah Rebar winning on a 3-run shot in the bottom of the 9th. 4-1 the final score.
That's a way to keep the streak going right there. Walk-off home run. Give them the win. Touch them all. What a hit.
The first leg of the doubleheader goes in favor of the Mean Green. All 4 runs coming off of 2 homers, both in the same part of the ballpark in right center field. This one from Hannah Rebar, and the freshman hits her 4th of the year. 3 RBIs tacked on to it, her 14th of the season, and North Texas is going to walk out of here with a 4-run walk-off win in 9 against the Southern Miss Golden Eagles.
Wow, what a game. Again, it's a shame that one of these pitchers had to lose, because what a great pitching performance. I know the score is going to show 4-1, but I tell you, it's a lot closer than the score will indicate there. Both pitchers played phenomenal, and UNT just able to get it done there with runners on base there. I talked about Southern Miss had the bases loaded twice, only able to get 1 run out of both of those situations. North Texas able to take advantage of having runners on base and a walk-off home run.
So Rebar gets it done for Coach Key and the North Texas Mean Green, but we are not done just yet. The second leg of the doubleheader coming up in just a few minutes here from Lovelace Stadium. An exciting extra inning affair in game 1. And we've still got a whole nother 7 innings to come here from Denton. Thank you for joining us here. This has been CSA TV, powered by North Texas Television. For everyone involved in this broadcast, for my partner, Nick Laupius, I'm Kyle Yeomans. We will see you in a little bit. Thank you for watching here on CSA TV.